Jude Bellingham should become one of the best players in the world.
He can do anything, he can attack, he can defend.
He's a fighter, he's skillful, he's smart on the ball, he has good vision.
It's the all-round package he brings.
Everyone loves him, the fans loves him, the media loves him.
I saw him at Birmingham City and I saw potential, and then I realized how good he was.
He's someone who definitely going to win the Ballon d'Or.
I think you could see how good he was right away. The rumors came up that he might join from Birmingham when he was 16 years old. Everybody was talking about him playing in the second division in England at a young age and playing all the games and playing very well.
I was in the training camp the summer he arrived. We saw him in training, we saw the first games and we saw, okay, that was something special.
What was surprising is that when Jude Bellingham arrived, 3, 4, 5 weeks later, he was already one of the major players, one of the dominant players in Dortmund's midfield. Beating opponents, being creative, playing crazy passes.
It's only a matter of time until he's reached world-class level.
What is he actually? Is he more of an attacking midfielder or a defensive midfielder?
I think he's a warrior, first of all. He's a player who never gives up, always 100%.
He's a box-to-box player, so that means he covers a lot of space.
He's running after every ball, which sometimes is not the smartest thing to do, but it shows that he's all in all the time.
He's like a leader on the pitch. If you talk with him, you have the feeling that he's very mature. Edin Terzic, the manager of Borussia Dortmund, he said it very well when he said he's the eldest 90-year-old in the world, and he's very right with it.
I've played well for Dortmund and in the last games for England, so yeah, I believe in my ability, but also don't want to get carried away. I just want to go out there, play whatever role the manager wants me to play, really.
He can play on every systems and every roles. He has the number 22. It belongs together like he can play the 4, the 8 and the 10.
He is more attacking minded, he's very dynamic, and he also has a good sense to find the right pockets, the right spaces, to then maybe create a shot or maybe play the final pass.
His best position for me is the number 8.
I think his best position by far is 8th position.
He's not a real number 6 because he wants to push in the front, he wants to go early in the gegenpressing.
He tends to try to do too much, to do everything by himself. We saw that against Stuttgart, for example, when he was trying to press all on his own and he left a gap behind him, so that's something he can work on.
For the 10 position, I think he's maybe a little bit too selfish right now. He tries everything by himself, and as a real playmaker, you have to play for your teammates a little bit more.
I think that versatility helps you as a coach, because then you can play him in different systems and you can play him maybe a little bit higher up the field or maybe a little bit deeper as a second holding midfielder. It's still possible.
He's absolutely a fan player. People here love him.
He can do anything, he can attack, he can defend.
We call it in Dortmund Malocha. He's a fighter.
I think you know him as in England a skipper.
It's always a surprise when such a young player is such a goal-getter.
Very strong defender and very aggressive in the midfield.
We love Jude.
He's a good player, so we are lucky to have him.
I think his attitude off the pitch is perfect. We talked before about him playing at 16 years old at Birmingham City with adult guys. I mean, that's how you develop.
I think he's a quiet guy outside the pitch, but somewhat surprisingly, he's a very provocative guy, at times at least, on the pitch. Yeah, he has temperament and he has passion. And I think he's a player who also brings maybe something to the table when you look at the English national team. Maybe he brings something to the table in midfield other players don't really have. Because a lot of English midfielders are a bit more calculated maybe at times. They are a bit more laid back. And then you got Bellingham, who can be, especially in these high intense games, he can provoke opponents, he can talk to the referee, he can, trash talk a little bit.
Jude is like a very young guy, and he needs also to improve himself in his behavior with the teammates as well. When he has the feeling that some of his team colleagues are not 100% focused, he's like very rude with them.
He expects a lot from his teammates, and sometimes his teammates are just not on the same level as he is. And that's quite normal because he's an outstanding player. But then he's rolling his eyes, and I think that's just not a good thing to do for a 19-year-old player.
There was also concern last season when he played so many games for Dortmund, when he was the focal point in so many matches, and then he looked tired and he looked kind of burnt out.
He played a lot of matches. He played the World Cup matches, he played the matches now with Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League and the DFB Cup.
I think at the World Cup we have seen that it might be a problem if he plays too many games. He came back to Dortmund, his form slipped a little bit because he's playing all the time, and sometimes it's maybe smarter to sit out a game, so you find your energy again.
Of course, it might be the case that Bellingham won't play until he's 36 or so, because he's wearing out his body quite quickly. If he's leaving Dortmund and joining one of these top-tier clubs, then maybe there's also the luxury that he can get more rest, right? Because there are other playmakers, other midfielders that can take his spot in certain games, and he doesn't have to carry the team. That might help him in a sense. Right now at Dortmund, he's the superstar.
I think he's as good as people say he is. I think £130 million is probably the right price tag.
Because you think, all right, there's so much upside, right? How good will he be at 25, 26?
He's becoming better very fast, very quickly, and I think it's only a matter of time until he's reached world-class level.
In today's market, I mean, in a heated transfer market where the prices just rise and rise, paying 120, 130 million for him, yeah, it's justified.
He's worth it, 100%.
Jude Bellingham should become one of the best players in the world.
He's someone who definitely going to win the Ballon d'Or. I think it's a matter of time when he's going to win it.